What does it take for an entire state to come to a standstill? For city squares to go silent and strangers to weep together on the streets? It takes a voice so powerful, so loved, that its silence is felt like a national calamity. In September 2025, Assam made history, not through politics, not through power, but through heartbreak. When the news broke that Zubeen Garg was gone, Assam witnessed a public outpouring unlike any on record. Lakhs assembled in Guwahati and beyond to pay their last respects, creating what some are already calling the largest public gathering in Assam's modern cultural memory. Shops downed shutters without any order. Public transport stood still. For 3 days, official mourning left television and radio silent except for songs and tributes to the melody that once united every home in the Northeast. Zubeen Garg's farewell became the defining public event of the decade. For millions, Zubeen Garg was not just an artist. He was the heartbeat that kept the state alive. His passing didn't just sadden Assam, it shook its very soul. How does a man who refused to move to Mumbai become Bollywood's most soulful voice? How does someone who dropped out of college create music the scholars study today? And how does a singer from Assam become the heartbeat of an entire generation? This is the story of Zubeen Garg, a tale of genius, heartbreak, triumph, and a dream that almost came true. Our story begins not with glory, but with a prophecy hidden in a name. November 18, 1972, Tura, Meghalaya. A magistrate named Mohini Mohan Borthakur and his singer wife Ili welcome their son into the world. But here's the twist. They don't just give him any name. They choose Zubeen, inspired by the legendary conductor Zubeen Mehta. It's as if they knew this child was destined to conduct the symphony of millions of hearts. But Zubeen's childhood wasn't a fairy tale. His father's job as a magistrate meant constant transfers. Picture this, a young boy, always the new kid, always starting over, finding solace only in his mother's voice as she sang him to sleep. His mother, Ili Borthakur, became his first guru. In those tender moments, she unknowingly planted the seeds of a voice that would one day echo from the tea gardens of Assam to the multiplexes of the whole of India. But here's where the story gets interesting. This boy would grow up to sing Ya Ali with such devotion, this future icon who would bridge cultures, he almost never became a singer at all. Young Zubeen was supposed to follow a traditional path. Science student at B. Barua College, a respectable degree, and maybe follow his father into government service. But destiny had other plans. Sometimes the greatest artists are born not when they choose their art, but when they refuse to choose anything else. In 1992, at a youth festival, something magical happened. Zubeen, this college dropout, this boy who was still finding his identity, won a gold medal for his Western solo performance. That moment, that single moment of recognition, changed everything. What would you do if you discovered you had a superpower? Zubeen Garg found his that day. His superpower was making people feel. November 1992. A 19-year-old drops his first album, Anamika. Now understand the context here. This wasn't just any album. This was a cultural earthquake. In a world where Assamese music was traditional, predictable, Zubeen brought something nobody had heard before. He didn't just sing songs, he created emotions that didn't exist before. The success was instant and overwhelming. But here's what most people don't know. Zubeen wasn't just breaking musical boundaries, he was rewriting the rules of identity itself. Born Zubeen Borthakur, he chose to become Zubeen Garg, adopting his Gotra name instead of his family surname. In a world that forces you into boxes, Zubeen Garg decided to build his own. But success in Assam wasn't enough for someone with Zubeen's ambition. 1995, the biggest gamble of his life, he He leaves everything, his growing fan base, his guaranteed success, his comfort zone, and moves to Mumbai. A boy from Assam in the city of dreams with nothing but his voice and an impossible dream. Mumbai 1995. The city that chews up dreamers and speeds them out. What could possibly go wrong? Mumbai in the 90s wasn't Instagram reels and viral videos. It was cassette tapes, music directors who could make or break careers with a phone call, and a system that didn't understand regional accents, let alone regional hearts. Zubeen's first Hindi album, Chandni Raat, was released in 1995. Then came the films, small roles, smaller recognition. Gaddar, Dil Se, Fiza, Kaate. Each song was a stepping stone, but stepping stones to where? But just when things were looking up, life threw him a curveball that would have destroyed a lesser man. February 2022, Sonitpur district, Assam, a car carrying performers to a stage show crashes. Among the victims was Zonki Borthakur, Zubeen's younger sister, who was also his fellow artist and confidant, and his best friend Jayanta Patra. After the crash, Zubeen took all responsibilities of Jayanta's family and tried his best to fill in the void left behind by his friend. They say that great art comes from great pain. What they don't tell you is the price of that pain. Zubeen's response to this crash? An album called Hiku, a tribute to Zonki. But this wasn't just music. This was a man processing grief in the only language he knew, melody. Now here's a love story within our story. Garima Saikia, a fashion designer from Golaghat, Assam. Their romance was as dramatic as his music. They dated, they fought, her family didn't approve. The pressures of his career, his complex personality, it was all too much. Even the man who could make millions fall in love couldn't keep his love story simple. They separated. Zubeen fell into depression. Some say his most haunting compositions from this period carry the echo of that heartbreak. But love, like great music, finds a way. February 4, 2002, the same year he lost his sister, Zubeen and Garima married. Sometimes you have to lose everything to realize what you can't live without. But all of this, the struggle, the pain, the small victories, was just the opening act. Because in 2006, everything changed with just 2 words, Ya Ali. At least 5 singers recorded Ya Ali before the composers chose Zubeen. Why him? Because when Zubeen sang it, something magical happened. His voice didn't just match Imran Hashmi's lip sync, it matched his soul. The song didn't just become a hit, it became a phenomenon. Middle East, South Asia, every Indian household. Suddenly, this boy from Assam wasn't just a regional star, he was India's voice. He received the Global Indian Film Award for Best Playback Singer in 2006. But here's the beautiful irony. The song that made him famous across India was about surrendering to something greater than yourself. And isn't that exactly what Zubeen had done with his art? Now here's where our story takes an unexpected turn. Just when Bollywood opened its doors wide for Zubeen, he did something that shocked everyone. He walked away. After Ya Ali, the offers poured in. Every music director wanted the next Ya Ali. Every producer wanted to bottle that magic. But Zubeen saw something they didn't. He was getting typecast. In his own words, he said, Bollywood music was changing with a slow pace, and even he was getting typecasted. After Ya Ali in 2006, he rejected many offers. He had a bad name in the industry for that. But he didn't think about it because he was not in a hurry to take up projects. Imagine having the golden ticket to Bollywood success and throwing it away because you refused to become a copy of yourself. But Zubeen wasn't retreating, he was evolving. Back in Assam, he became something more than an entertainer. He became a cultural force. While Bollywood was trying to figure out Zubeen Garg, Assam was celebrating him. Zubeen Garg, the humanitarian. Through his Kalaguru Artist Foundation, he became a one-man disaster relief agency. Every monsoon, when the Brahmaputra flooded and millions suffered, Zubeen wasn't just tweeting thoughts and prayers. He was organizing relief, donating his own money, playing charity football matches. During COVID 19, he offered his two-story house in Guwahati as a COVID care center. He was known for quietly donating to families in distress, helping beggars, disabled, helping families in medical emergencies, and several social causes without even making things public. Anyone can sing about love, but it takes someone special to live it. But his versatility was mind boggling. Actor in 27 Assamese films, music director who won a National Film Award for Echoes of Silence, composer, lyricist, poet whose poetry book won awards, a man who could play 12 instruments and sing in 40 languages. He has recorded over 38,000 songs in his career, including an astonishing 36 songs in a single night. But great artists are never saints, and Zubeen Garg was definitely not a saint. 2019, he made controversial statements about his Brahmin identity that sparked outrage. 2024, during a Bihu concert, he said Krishna was never God but a man and got banned from certain venues. The same voice that could make you believe in divine love could also make you question everything you believed in. This was his gift and curse. He couldn't help but speak his truth, even when the truth was uncomfortable to many.
I'm coming to Singapore tomorrow.
In September 2025, he had flown to Singapore for the Northeast India Festival, an international celebration of Northeast Indian culture and artistry. But what followed was Zubeen's final hours, which remain even now wrapped in questions. As the preparations for the festival were taking place, Zubeen and friends took time out for private outing. There was laughter, swimming, and, like so many moments in his life, a sense of adventure. Eyewitnesses say that after multiple swims with a life jacket, Zubeen decided to go into the water one last time without it. That fateful call would prove irreversible. According to official reports, he drowned while swimming at the sea. He was rushed to a Singapore hospital but could not be revived. What precisely happened remains a mystery, and with the matter still under investigation and widespread calls from the people of Assam for answers, some speak in whispers of conspiracy and foul play. The state government has even ordered a second post-mortem, underscoring just how deeply this loss runs and how much clarity people demand. The news reached Assam like a physical blow. In Guwahati, shops closed without being asked. Roads that never sleep suddenly emptied. Students couldn't study, workers couldn't work. An entire state was grieving not just a singer but a piece of its soul. They say you can measure a person's impact not by their success but by the silence their absence creates. For 3 days, Assam observed mourning. Food delivery stopped, convenience stores shut, even e-commerce came to a halt in the state. Some criticized it as excessive, but they missed the point. This wasn't just about a singer dying, this was about a voice being silenced. And when that voice had spoken for an entire people, their grief became collective. Here's the most heartbreaking irony of all. Zubeen had once spoken about his wish to live by the Brahmaputra river in a small bungalow. When death came, he said, "Wash me up in the Brahmaputra, I am a soldier." He wanted to be one with the river that had shaped his homeland. Instead, his last moments were in foreign waters, far from the land that loved him most. September 23, 2025, Guwahati, as Zubeen Garg was cremated with full state honors, something beautiful happened. People didn't just say goodbye, they sang. His songs, his voice echoing through the crowds. The body was gone, but the voice was eternal. 38,000 songs across 40 languages, a career spanning 3 decades, a National Film Award, global recognition. But perhaps his greatest achievement was simpler. He made people feel less lonely. So, what do we learn from the life of Zubeen Garg? That talent without courage is just noise. That success without authenticity is just illusion. That a life lived on your own terms, even a shorter one, is infinitely more valuable than a longer life lived on someone else's. In a world of manufactured stars, Zubeen Garg was something rare. He was real, and real things, even when they're gone, leave echoes that never fade.